So this is our upcoming batch details. Okay, so we are starting a morning and evening 5 on Firewall Mastery Program batch. Okay, in the morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. we are going to start. It's a weekdays batch. Monday to Friday we are having session. Okay, so 1 hour session. The same way in the evening 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and that is going to start with FortiGate firewall, and then morning batch 5 on Firewall Mastery Program. It's going to start with Checkpoint Firewall. Okay, so if you are looking for FortiGate only, or if you are looking for Checkpoint only, then you you can join that individual courses as well. Or if you are looking for 5 on Firewall Mastery Program, you can join this 5 on Firewall Mastery Program. Sure, batch guys. Okay, so let's find. Okay, so let's start our today's session. So before that, myself Sudhakar Ponusamy. Okay, so I am the trainer for this 5 on Firewall Mastery Program. Okay, so I am a CCIE Network Security certified engineer, and as well as I am a Paloalto PCNSC certified engineer. Guys, I'm almost 10 plus years of industry experience I am having regarding the training industry. I have been worked with almost five plus years. This is my sixth year. I'm giving a training to professional sons students, guys. Okay, so to more about myself, and I'll share with you guys on the live batches. Okay, so since it's a limited duration, we have only 1 hour, right? So I just want to complete our today's demo session part, day two, 5 on Firewall Mastery Program demo session. So I hope I hope everyone is already I mean I everyone attended our yesterday session, right? So as I mentioned yesterday, today we are going to do have lab hands-on with the FortiGate firewall. Okay, so sorry guys. So today we are going to see as a day two 5 on Firewall Mastery Program demo. We are going to do lab with our hands-on with the FortiGate firewall with this initial configuration. So when you're getting a fresh FortiGate firewall, how to access the console very first time, and what are the menus, what are the options we have in a FortiGate firewall, what are the features we have in a FortiGate firewall, that and all today we are going to explore how to access your FortiGate firewall very first time before deploy that FortiGate firewall into the live production network. So what are the prerequisites we need to configure, that and all we'll discuss today. Okay, so without any delay, I just want to start our demo session. So once again, I welcome you everyone. Welcome to Network Ethics. So today it's a initial configuration of FortiGate firewall, guys. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the initial configuration. So sorry. So this is the lab setup we are going to follow for initial days in a FortiGate firewall. Okay, it's a simple lab setup. So which is having a site one and another site two. Okay, so we'll use for your uh, 10 to 20% of the curriculum we'll discuss about this. Okay, Suresh Kumar, for advanced topic share you for the reference purpose. Okay, so you need to uh, if it's a fresh firewall I'm having right now. So if you're looking for some advanced topics, so definitely I'll share the recorded video of the advanced topic. Okay, with this FortiGate, not only FortiGate, all 5 on Firewall Mastery Program. Okay, all the recorded videos I'll share with you for your reference. So since it's a fresh firewall, you need to complete your registration, and I mean you need to access the console very first time. So to start your advanced topic, I need to complete my basics configuration first. So if that itself it will take for 30 to 45 minutes, so I'm not able to complete within 1 hour span of time. I'm not able to complete some advanced topic and all. So definitely for your reference, I'll share the recorded videos of advanced topic. Okay, okay, yes, yeah, sure is, that's fine. So let's assume you are getting a fresh FortiGate firewall. So FortiGate FortiGate firewall support hardware platform and then VM platform both. Okay, just a minute, guys. My pen is not working. Oh, sorry. Okay. So today I have a fresh FortiGate VM KVM64 machine I have right now. So this is a fresh firewall which is not configured anything. Simply I have deployed in this topology. Okay. So when you're getting a fresh Palo Alto firewall, if you are, it might be a hardware based firewall or it might be a VM firewall, right? So you need to access the console to configure some based on your production network needs, your organization needs. You are going to implement some services object, or I mean what, so you're going to create some policy, right? So that and all you need to for that configuration itself, you need to access your firewall very first time. Then only after getting a console only you can able to do it, right? So for that you need to know initial default configuration setups. Okay, so if it is a hardware firewall, to your or VM firewall, your FortiGate firewall will support the console through CLI, GUI, or you can use your native console type. So, which means rollover cable, console cable. By connecting with the console cables, you can directly access the CLI console. Okay, but in FortiGate nowadays, all next generation firewalls, it's come dedicatedly coming with a management port. Okay, so that dedicated management port with it's coming with a pre-configured IP addresses and credentials, guys. Okay, so this this pre-configuration vary for the hardware firewall and VM firewall. If it is a hardware firewall, it's having a dedicated management interface, and that interface pre-configured with the IP address 192.168.1.99. If it is a fresh FortiGate firewall, you're having a for hardware firewall, Fortinet hardware. So any type of hardware from the basics level to advanced level. I mean the entry level to advanced level firewall. Anything it's coming with a pre-configured IP address that it's having a dedicated management interface. That interface having pre-configured IP address called 192.168.1.99, guys. Okay, so that is /24 network. Okay, and if suppose it's a VM machine, just like this, we are having a VM machine here, we KVM 64 model. Okay, so that VM machine, it's pre-configured with by default it is pre-configured as a DHCP client. Okay, so this machine by default it's pre-configured with a DHCP client. So if suppose in your production network, if you have a DHCP server, then your management interface will obviously will get one IP address. So based on your network, which is having a DHCP server, right? So you can able to verify the IP address. What is the IP in your management interface, which is configured by the DHCP server. If suppose if you don't have a DHCP server, then you need to connect with the console cable, and directly you need to configure your through CLI console. You need to configure your dedicated IP address for your management interface management interface based on your management network. Okay, so after let's assume that right now we have a hardware firewall. Okay, so which is having a management IP right now 192.168.1.99. Okay, and once if you call this IP address on your management interface, okay, so you need a one more machine which is connecting with your same management network of your FortiGate firewall, right? So let's assume that I'm having a dedicated management PC which I'm going to access my FortiGate firewall like this one. This is my management PC. So from my management PC, I'm going to call my FortiGate firewall console, either CLI or GUI, to configure to complete my initial configurations, right? So in that case, your management PC, you need to assign with the same network. So based on your management network, management interface network IP. Okay, so based on the IP address of your management interface of your FortiGate firewall. So now what you have to do, you have to assign the same network IP for your management PC on that 99. Okay, after calling this IP address, after assign the IP address to your management PC, and you will have a reachability between your management PC to your FortiGate firewall management interface. So now if you have a reachability, then you can access the console, this management interface, dedicated management interface, pre-configured management interface. By default, it will accept ping, telnet. Sorry, it's not accept the telnet services. Yeah, just a minute. Guys, I have muted everyone as of now to avoid the noises. If you have any queries, any doubts, uh, you can ping me, and I'll last 5 to 10 minutes. I'll give you the as a Q&A session. For a Q&A purpose, I will unmute you so you can ask your doubts. If you have a general doubts like what is the fee structure, what is the timing, and what about the lab setup, right? Everything I'll address last 10 to 15 minutes, or you can book a one-to-one call to me. Okay, so we can talk to each other, guys. Okay, so now I just focusing the initial configuration. Okay, so in the same initial configuration itself, if you have any doubts, you can just ping me your doubt in a chat box. I'll address you. Okay, right now. So this dedicated management interface by default, it will accept the ping protocol for network reachability purpose, to checking the network reachability. Okay, and then SSH, HTTPS, HTTP. Okay, so these services only by default it will be acceptable on your management interface, which is predefined. So these services is enabled. So I'm not audible, guys. Am I audible to everyone, right? So RB, please reconnect. Yeah. Okay, fine. So as I mentioned, your by default, I mean, either it's a hardware firewall dedicated management interface or VM firewall management port one. VM firewall doesn't have a dedicated management interface. You have to use your data interface as a management interface. By default, you can use port one as a management interface. Why? What is the reason? I'll tell you later. So dedicated management interface, if you are working with a hardware firewall, so that is having a dedicated management interface. That dedicated management interface by default, it will support these services: ping, SSH, telnet, HTTPS, right? And then so these three services are fair enough to access your administrative console. Okay, so now when you're calling this IP address with a hardware model, when you're going to call, now we have a reachability. Then we are going to call our default management interface IP 192.168.1.99. Then it will ask you to provide the credentials, username and password. Okay, so there is a default credential. So username is admin, password is null, guys. There is no password. Okay, when you're having a fresh FortiGate firewall, when you're accessing a fresh FortiGate firewall very first time, it's not configured with a password. Only user credential is admin and no password. Okay, so when after in this scenario, you need to enter, and it will ask you to configure the password, guys. Okay, it will ask you to change your password. So you need to say you need to provide your admin credential by yourself very first time when you're doing it. Okay, so these are all the default configuration when you're getting a fresh FortiGate firewall. Okay, so if it is this credential is same for VM, either it's a hardware firewall or VM firewall. Only the changes is, and like only changes is, if it is a hardware firewall, it's pre-configured with the management interface IP, and VM firewall, it's configured with the DHCP client. Okay, so now I'm going to access my fresh FortiGate firewall very first time. Okay, so to access, you need to start the machine. I already start this machine. Okay, so this is a fresh firewall, right? I don't have any idea what is the IP address of my management interface, or if it is a hardware firewall, it is configured with the IP address. Okay, so pre-configured with the IP address. But right now I'm using a VM machine, so I don't know what is the IP address of VM machine. So if suppose if you have a hardware fire, I mean a VM machine with a DHCP server in your production network, so that you can able to see in your virtual machines like this. It's showing on IP address. This is not for my FortiGate firewall IP. Okay, it's I'm using a virtualization tool for to create this lab. I'm using a virtualization tool called a PNet and A1G. Okay, so these tools getting an IP address from my DHCP server. By the same way, your FortiGate firewall will get an IP address from your in your production network DHCP server from your virtual machine. You can see that IP address, or if you don't know, so in this tool, if you we cannot see that, right? So in this tool, you need to double click that machine. So scenario, you need to access through direct console, right? So just double click and you can able to see one pop-up menu is coming here. So this is your native CLI console. This in this tool, it's act like a native CLI console. But in your production network, obviously you're going to use a VMware EXSX or NSX operating system. So that VM machines will show you IP address just like this if it is configured as a DHCP server, and you can directly log in the CLI console even though if it is not having IP address also, you can directly log in with here inside this. Okay, just a, you can log in like this. Okay, so in your VMware workstation, it will not having IP address, so it will, but it will ask you to provide the credential, and by default credentials you know username, admin, password. There is no password. So after that, it will enter into the FortiGate console the same way. But here we are using a EVNG tool. Okay, so the PNet. So I have, this is a virtualization tool nested. This tool is doing a nested virtualization. I'm not directly having a hardware into the EVNG. I'm having this hardware from my PNet to my base machine to PNet to this EVNG operating system. So nested virtualization I'm doing. So I don't have a privilege to access directly my physical network. So I'm not getting IP address. Okay. In this scenario. But in a live production network, so that VM is loaded into the either EXS operating system or NSX, so you can able to see here the IP address of DHCP if suppose your VM is getting IP address from the DHCP server, it will show you here. Okay, by calling that IP, you can access the console directly. Okay, so in a live production, I mean in our live sessions, I'll show you how it will get the IP address and all. So now it's a initial configuration. So we are working with the virtual machine. So now if suppose the virtual machine is pre-configured with the DHCP client, right? But in my production network, I don't have a DHCP server. So how to change the IP address, how to assign the IP address for my FortiGate firewall, VM firewall, that we are going to see now. So in this tool, since I'm not getting any IP address, or this is a virtualization tool, I'm not able to connect my my console cable with my management PC to my FortiGate firewall directly. So this is a virtualization tool. In this tool, they given you can access native console by double click on this tool. It will pop up suddenly. It will pop up your native console. So you will directly enter into your FortiGate CLI. So now it is asking for the credentials. What is the credential? What is the credential, guys? Default credential, username. Username is admin. Okay. And password, it doesn't have a password. Okay. so this so this machine, it's pre-configured with a password, I think so. So password, there is no password, but in a fresh machine, it doesn't have a password. So I have reconfigured to apply the licenses. So that's the reason it is, password is changed here. So in a real-time scenario, it very first time when you're accessing, it doesn't have a password. So now I have this password. Okay, fine. So I did only password configuration only. Okay. So rest of the features are IP assignment. I'm not yet done. Everything is fresh as it is fresh. Okay. Username is admin and password. I did password changes to the admin. So in this scenario, you will get, you need to hit enter after giving a username, and it will prompt you to change, assign the passwords, configure the password. So assign your configure your password and reconfigure your password. So this dialog menu you will get it after assign the your password, and then it will go inside your console, guys. Okay. So now it's already configured to apply the licenses. I have already configured it. Okay. So fine. So this is a fresh firewall. So I don't know what is the IP address of my management interface. So how to verify that? So this is my FortiGate CLI console, and right now we are in a operational mode. Okay, so this is a operational mode, guys. Okay, CLI has two types, so operation mode and global configuration mode. So this is operation mode. So in this operation mode, you can able to execute show commands most of the scenario. Okay, 99% you can able to execute the show commands and test commands only. Okay, so I don't know what is the IP address of my management interface of my FortiGate firewall. Since it's a VM, it doesn't have a dedicated management interface, just like a hardware firewall. Okay, so now I want to access the console, so I need to assign the IP address for my management interface. Since it doesn't have a dedicated management interface, as an administrator, I can choose any data interfaces as my management interface. Okay, but I preferred uh, port number one as your management PC, guys. So what is the reason why I am saying that port number one you have to use as your dedicated management interface? Because port number one, it's pre-configured as a DHCP client. Not only that, that interface only by default it will accept the administrative services. So if you want to access the console of your FortiGate firewall, see, you need to access the, I want to access the CLI console or GUI console. CLI console I can access through telnet or SSH. GUI console I can access through HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, so these services, your management interface need to accept and support these services. So I am taking a telnet service, telnet of my FortiGate firewall. I'm taking SSH console of my FortiGate firewall. I'm taking a GUI console of my FortiGate firewall. So these services on that particular port need to be enabled. These services need to be acceptable on that particular port. So in a fresh VM machine, port one only by default enable with these administrative services like ping for network reachability purpose, and SSH is enabled, telnet is enabled, HTTP and HTTPS is enabled. So these are to access the console, either CLI or GUI. These services need to be accepted on your management interface. So by default, port one only will accept that interface. So without having any difficulties, by connecting with the port one, you can just assign the IP address of port 1 and you can able to access your console. After assign the IP address of your port 1, you can able to access the console properly, guys. Okay, if you are using any other data interfaces, that is possible, but you need to enable these services, port 2, port 3. If you are enable that data interfaces, you want to make it as a management interface, then these services are, you need to manually enable to accept that services, then only you can able to access the console. So for that reason only, I'm from my side, I'll prefer port 1 as a management interface. Okay, so let me show you these details here. So how to verify that? I told you, right? So this is a CLI console. This your operation mode console where you can able to verify show command. So I want to verify my management interface IP address. So I don't know what is my management interface in my FortiGate firewall, right? So let me change. Okay, let me show verify that I interfaces, assign interface details, show system interface is the command to verify your all interface, how many interfaces, data interfaces you have in your VM machine, and what is the IP assignment, what is the configuration of each and every interface details, you can able to see by using this command, guys. Okay, now you can see, just look at port 1, port 1 and allow access. Ping is acceptable, HTTPS is acceptable, SSH is acceptable, HTTP is acceptable. But what about the port 2 data interface, port 3 data interface, port, right? So port 4 like that. Other interfaces are not enabled anything. All are simply saying that it's a root and it doesn't have a IP address, and even though even this is not enabled with the DHCP clients, right? So that's the reason I said please use your port number 1 as a I mean your management interface in your VM. If suppose you have a DHCP server in your production network, okay, if you are going to manually change the IP addresses, then you can choose any interfaces. Port 2 also you can choose it as your management interface. So you need to, only thing is, additionally you need to accept these services. While enable port 2, additionally you need to add all the enable these services to accept the GUI and CLI console access from the network management network. Okay, so now my concern, I just port 1 SAC, yes, port one is for all VM machines. It's a predefined one. Okay, can you hear me, guys? My voice is okay, right? Anyone facing any difficulties to hear my voice? Okay, fine, fine. So now I'm going to change the IP address. This putty is inactive. Let me take a duplicate session. Okay. So now I'm going to assign the IP addresses for manage my port 1. I want to assign the IP address. So how to assign the IP address? You need to enter into the configuration mode. So I'm doing some changes on my interface configuration. You need to go to the interface configuration mode, and I'm going to do some modification here. So I'm going to changes. I'm going to do some changes on my FortiGate firewall. So here you need to use this command. So enter into the configuration mode. So you need to use this command config system and system I'm going to do some configuration changes in my firewall. So what kind of changes? Interface. In my interface, I'm going to do some modification. Okay. So right now I'm enter into the interface configuration mode. So here we have a, so just give a which interface you want to configure. So you can verify which is your, which interface you want to make your management interface. Okay, so these many interfaces are here. So port 1 only is enabled with the administrative services, so I want to go with the port 1. Okay, so you need to choose your interface. So edit port 1 is the interface which I'm going to modify, which I'm going to configure, right? So choose edit one, edit port 1, and now you can see I am in a port 1 console. Right now I'm in a port 1 interface. So here whatever the changes you want to do it, that you can able to do it here, guys. So I, what is the my current port 1 interface configuration? Just execute by, to verify that you can use the show command inside the interface, and you can see interface 1 is configured as a DHCP client, and administrative services are enabled this these services. Since it doesn't have a IP address, I mean DHCP server in your production network, so it is not getting IP address. Okay, so I am going to change, I'm going to assign the IP address as a static manner. Okay, so how to assign the IP address, guys? To assign the IP address, just a minute, guys. To assign the IP address to your management interface, right now port 1 is going to be a management interface, right? So to management interface you need to change the IP assignment mode first. So for that you have to use the keyword set mode. What is the mode? IP assignment mode. So triple PoE DHCP statics. So I'm going to use a static method. Okay, because I'm going to DHCP server, we don't have a DHCP server, so it will not get any IP address from the DHCP server. So that's the reason I'm changing to the static method. So make it as a static, and then now you have to assign the IP address. To assign the IP address, use this command set IP. What is the IP address you want to assign? So I want to assign my management interface. I want to give a IP as a 192.168. My, as per my physical LAN IP, I want to give it. So 192.168.1.0/24 network. I'm going to use my as my physical LAN interface. Okay. So my physical LAN subnet. So that LAN subnet I'm going to assign the IP address from that LAN subnet. Okay. So let me assign 192.168.1.100 as your management interface IP, and then give a subnet mask. So you can just give a in subnet mask by using a slash values. Okay, that's it, guys. So IP is assigned, right? So just verify that, show, and now you can see IP assignment. We got an IP assignment on your management interface port 1, and that is 192.168.1.100. Okay, and now by calling this IP address, I can able to access my FortiGate firewall from my management interface. I can able to access my FortiGate firewall CLI console and GUI console, right? So let me go to my management interface. My physical PC is right now act like my management interface, which is having IP 192.168.1.0/24 network, and this is having IP 192.168.1.5. My management interface having a management PC having IP address 192.168.1.5. My management interface IP of my FortiGate firewall is 192.168.1.100. So let me try to check the reachability between my FortiGate firewall to my management PC. Okay, go to your management PC and execute the ping command. Ping 192.168.1.100. What happened, guys? So here I'm not getting a reachability. Instead of that, I'm getting destination host is unreachable. Why? So let me try to ping from my FortiGate firewall. So the reason, even though it is showing here IP address, it's showing also it is visible in your management interface. You're still in a configuration mode only. Your configuration is not yet completed. Okay. So when you're complete your configuration, then only the configuration changes will be applied properly. Okay. So in my side, I have completed my interface configuration IP assignment. So I need to exit. I need to save the changes and I need to exit from the interface configuration. So for that, you have to use the keyword called end, and automatically changes will be updated. Okay. Now go to your firewall, sorry, your management PC. Now you can see as soon as I given a command called end, and I'm getting a reply from my FortiGate firewall. From my the request is initiated by my management PC, which is having IP 190.168.1.5, and now it's getting a reply from the 190.168.1.100, which is your management interface IP of your FortiGate firewall, right? So now verify that. Now I'm also going to ping from my FortiGate firewall to my management PC. So for that, you have to use the command called execute ping 192.168.1.5. Okay. So I have a proper reachability between my management PC and my FortiGate firewall management interface. Shaq, the by default IP, when you are using a hardware based firewall, it's pre-configured with the specific IP address 192.168.1.99, right? But here I made it as a DHC. It's a VM machine. This machine by default it is configured as a DHCP client. So in my lab setup, I don't have a DHCP server, so that your FortiGate firewall how it will get IP address. If your management interface is getting some IP, then only you can call your FortiGate firewall console by using that IP address, right? So for that reason only I changed it from DHCP to static method. I have changed it. Okay, clear now? If it is a hardware firewall, I can directly my management interface, management PC only. I can change the IP address and I can directly connect it with the my management interface of FortiGate firewall hardware, and simply I can access the console. Okay, so I don't need to do all these steps. It's very simplest method. You can directly access your FortiGate firewall by calling your management interface IP, dedicated management interface IP. Here we are using a VM firewall, and VM firewall by default it is configured as a DHCP client. In your lab setup, this lab setup, we don't have a DHCP server, so it is not getting any IP address. Okay, if it is not getting IP address, so I need to do initial configuration. I need to verify the consoles, what are the features we have in and all. So I need to assign the IP address, right? So for that reason only I change the IP address from 190.168.1 I mean DHCP client to statically I change the IP 190.168.1.100. Clear? So now I have a clear reachability between my FortiGate firewall and my management interface. So obviously I can able to access my FortiGate firewall console through CLI and GUI from my management PC, right? So let me try to access my FortiGate firewall CLI console, sorry, GUI console first from by using HTTP service. Okay, because your management interface of FortiGate firewall, so system interface port 1, by default it will accept the ping. So when you try to ping, I can able to ping. I'm getting a reply. The same way CLI console, GUI console you can access through HTTP and HTTPS. CLI console you can access through SSH. Okay, so I'm going to access my GUI console by using HTTP services. Okay, let me access 192.168. You can yes, you can change it your physical firewall's IP address by default. Yes, you can. The reason why we should change the IP address means so it's a pre-configured IP address. If you're not changing that, so everyone can know what is your firewall's IP address. Okay, and when you're giving them, I mean, if they that is one of the loophole to your production network, so they can able to easily configure access your FortiGate firewall, and they can able to bypass your firewall. Okay, so for that reason only, security reason, and depends on your management network. Every organization, they have a dedicated management network, so they will not change it, right? So they, for entire they will for entire infrastructure, they will use a dedicated management network. So you need to assign the IP address from that specific network, okay, for a better administrative purpose. So now let me access the GUI console of FortiGate firewall, HTTP 192.168.1.100. Okay, let's see. And you can see I got a login page from FortiGate firewall. Username is admin and password is whatever I have changed. Okay, username is admin, password also admin. Okay, now you can see. So this welcome message you are getting, it will show you the whatever the features you have in a 7.7.x operating system, in a 40 operating system. Okay, so we have a 7.x operating system is the major update. Okay, and right now we have 7.2 from 7.2 to 7.4 and 7.6 and all. So here I have chosen a 7.2 menu, I mean file here. Okay, in a live production, I mean, in a live sessions, we will use 7.6 operating system. Okay, the console access, the menus, everything will, you will not get any difference from 7.2 to 7.x. Okay, you will not get any major difference between these 7.x operating systems, because the 7.0 from 7.0 to 7.6, these are all the minor updates, small features and patch update is given from the FortiGate side. Okay, so it's not having a major changes, so you will not get any changes on your consoles, okay, or features, because it's not a major update, guys. It's a minor update, upgradations, which is patch updates is done by for the 40 way. So FortiGate firewall using a 40 operating system. Okay, so that operating system versions update only is that. Okay, now, so this is your GUI console of your FortiGate firewall, guys. So you have a dashboard. So dashboard, it's a feature where you can monitor, where you can see your live production network information just like this. So here it is showing your firewall information, and then license type, right? And then usage of your firewall usage. The same way, this dashboard will use to verify your live production network uh, monitoring purpose. Okay, 40 view, 40, you can see these tools, 40 view tool, this is called a 40 view tool. Okay, so these tools will allow you to verify your logs based on the source address, application, service, destination, based on the threads, right? So based on the sessions, based on the policies, right? And if you're if you're configured IPsec configuration, and if you want to monitor your IPsec tunnel activities, right, so that you can able to access SD-WAN monitor is SD-WAN activities you can monitor under dashboard, under SD-WAN widgets, right? So these are all the menus. So dashboard, under dashboard, whatever the menu you are seeing here, that is related to log, I mean, for monitoring purpose, it will help us. Okay, so deeper about the each and everything we will see in our live sessions. Okay, and after that you have a network menu. So under network menu only you are going to configure your interface and routing related configuration, SD-WAN rules, security policies, right? And routing configurations. So that and all you are going to configure under not security policies, so policy based routing. Okay, so that and all you are going to do it under network menu. So whatever networking related, I mean interface level, L3 interface and SD-WAN and routing, static and dynamic routing protocols, right? So everything you are going to manage under network menu. Okay, so we have another one more menus, policy and object menu. So where you are going to create a security policy, and where you are going to create IP address as a object, service as a object. You can create a single service or multiple service as a object, and where you are going to configure then DNAT rules. Okay, IP addresses as object, service as object, DDoS policy, right? Firewall policies, security policy. Firewall policy is nothing; it's a security policy where so which whatever the service you want to allow or deny, that you are going to implement here. That rule you are going to implement here. Okay, so And you can, as I mentioned, the IP address as a object, network DNAT as a object, NAT rule. One of the NAT rule is destination NAT. Okay, so DNAT you can create by using a virtual IP concept. Okay, and after that we have a security profile. So under security profiles, whatever the UTM features, it's supported by your FortiGate firewall, right? So that can be that you are going to configure under here. So like antivirus profile, web URL filter, web filter, right? Video, if you want to block or allow specific videos, right? So that video filter you can able to apply. So that are all, sorry, yes. So these features are called the UTM features, Unified Threat Management features, or IPS activities. So simply you can say whatever the IPS function. So whichever the features we are using it for deep inspection purpose, monitoring purpose, right? So that features you can able to see under these menu. Security profile, whatever the next generation features we have: file filter, IPS activities, application control, DNS filter, video, any specific video filters you want to apply, web URL filter, antivirus filter, right? So antivirus, against the antivirus you can create the filters by using these security profiles. And then we have a dedicated menu for the VPN, so SSL VPN and IPsec VPN. Under user authentication, you're going to integrate your, let's say if you're going to use Active Directory based user authentication, let's say in your organization you have Active Directory's integrated server, so user management system is maintained by the Active Directory LDAP server. So they have a, I mean in my production network we have a multiple team. Okay, so I want to, let's say sales team and then support team and technical team, like that. We have an administrative team, like that. We have a different kind of employees we have. So each team, they are handling their own projects, right? So sales team, they will follow the sales leads, and then they will do the marketing kind of things and all. So for them they need a separate business level applications, right? So they need to access the social networking application and other business related application. The support team, they need a separate business related application access and internet access and all. So different kind of teams, we can provide the different kind of services by using, and you can implement different kind of access level by using the user authentication. So that user authentication, or simply Active Directory integration, AD server integration with FortiGate firewall, we'll do it by using this user authentication menu, where you are going to create multiple admin user accounts and manage existing LDAP server users, remote user management system, right? So that and all you are going to manage under user and authentication, guys. And other menu, system, which is related to the your FortiGate firewall administrative purpose. So like high availability, taking a backup and creating a new admin user account, and then creating a new admin roles, or integrate with the other Fortinet product like Forti Manager, Forti Analyzer, any automation stitches if you want to perform, integrate with your FSSO agent for the user authentication, right? So everything you're going to do it under system, and your FortiGate firewall features and your console visibility you can able to manage under this system menu, guys. Yeah, yes, you can use LDAP server for user authentication. Okay, so that concept is called a captive portal. Yes, you can able to do it. Okay, we will do this lab. Captive portal, we will do this lab. You can able to understand that time, and you can connect LDAP users for Wi-Fi access as well. So I mean the guest access, that is also possible. Okay, and then So whatever the firewall administrative purpose, these are all the firewall configuration. So firewall related, system related configuration. So high availability in SNMP configuration. And so FortiGuard is the feature. It's a 0-day threat prevention feature. So it's a cloud based subscription. Okay. So if you have connected with a FortiGuard server, if you have a FortiGuard license, then you can connect with the FortiGuard server. Okay, where you will get a frequent update from the Fortinet side, any update for the IPS Act update or patch update or application control database update, right? So 0-day threat prevention means a new type of attack which is for identified recently. I mean, the new type of attack or recently identified attacks. Okay, so that can be detected by the help of FortiGuard feature. Not only 0-day threat prevention, it is an enhanced IPS than your FortiGate firewall inbuilt IPS is FortiGuard is the enhanced IPS than your inbuilt IPS of your FortiGate firewall. Okay, so I'll tell you how this FortiGuard feature is very helpful to us in the specific topic called 0-day threat prevention. Okay, under feature visibility, whatever the FortiGate firewall features are enabled, if you want to enable and disable on your the features in your 40 operating system, so that you can able to see here. Okay, so you can do enable and disable. I don't want to allow the console to see the antivirus related application related services. So in that case you can just disable it. So if you disable it, and you can go to the security profiles, and you once this it is updated, your you cannot see this information in your console. Okay, so likewise application filter. Okay, these are all you can able to enable or disable these features under system features and visibility. Okay, so antivirus is disabled, not disabled, it's enabled. Okay, by default it is enabled with that. So you need to apply this, and you need to go to security profile. Are you able to see antivirus related features? It's hidden, right? So if you need to enable, you need to see that information, then you need to enable and just to apply it, and you can see, go to security profile and antivirus profile is here. So under features and visibility, whatever the menu you want to show in your console, that you can able to decide by using this under system security feature visibility. Okay, and security fabrics. So you can connect your FortiGate firewall with others Fortinet security products as well as the third party security products. So this implementation you can able to connect with the FortiGate security fabric features. Okay, so where you are going to connect the Forti manager, Forti analyzer. Yes, it will be, we have a dedicated session SAC. Okay, so definitely I'll show you how to upload the licenses and all. No worries. So already I'm running out of the time. Okay, so I told you earlier in the session, so it will take 30 to 45 minutes to register in your Fortinet TAC account. Then you need to get a license from the TAC account. Okay, so it will take time. So we have, and as a fresher or as a beginner, you will not able to understand suddenly. So we'll go with the one by one. No worries. Okay. So you can see that 40 sandbox you can connect, 40 manager, 40 analyzer, 40 endpoint management system you can able to manage, right? So 40 manager, like that you can integrate other devices with your FortiGate firewall. Clear? And log and report is for, it's similar to FortiView. Okay, so under dashboard you are seeing this FortiView source, destination, application, right? So these menus, how we are, it is very helpful to us for the monitoring purpose. The same way log and report is used to verify the logs and monitoring purpose. Okay, so whatever, if anything is if your firewall is blocking the traffic, and if you want to know what is the reason, then under security events you can see under logs you can see what are the traffics are denied, what is the reason, and what the allowed traffic. If you want to know what is the status of your allowed traffic logs, then you need to verify under forward traffic. Okay, and these log and report menu is for totally monitoring purpose. So log and report, FortiView, these two menus will help us to monitor your live traffic in an efficient way, guys. Okay, so these are all the menu. I just give you the overview of your FortiGate firewall menus. So in depth, we have multiple features and the system visibilities. You can see these are all the multiple things are disabled here. So each and every advanced topic with whatever we are going to learn day by day. So that time you are going to explore new menus. Okay, and inside this also we have a lot of things. So I just give you the overview how to access the console through CLI, through GUI console, how to assign the IP address for your management interface, and how to access the GUI consoles. Okay, and what are the menus we have. Okay, so this is partial, this is not complete initial configuration, guys. So when before deploy your FortiGate firewall in a live production networks, you need to do a lot of things. So you need to configure your interface configuration. So data interfaces you need to configure, you need to configure routing, you need to configure you need to configure NAT rules, security policies. Right after that, if you want any security additional features you want to implement, like security profiles, antivirus profile, application control, URL filter, that and all, you need to do it later. But you need to access your console where during your initial configuration, you need to know what is the default credential, what all the services are acceptable on your management interface, and how to access the console through CLI and GUI. Okay, and what are the menu we have. That is the thing we have explored, and much more things we need to do it in an initial configuration itself, like creating multiple admin user account based on your needs. You need to provide different kind of privileges. You are not going to provide We are not going to provide all the administrators. We are not going to provide all entire features consoles of your FortiGate firewall. So if someone is so other team members also need to access your FortiGate firewall. Let's say in your organization, uh, firewall management team, we have dedicated management firewall management team, firewall administration team we have, and dedicated network team might have, dedicated audit team might have it based on your organization size and structure. Okay, so in that case other team members also need to access your FortiGate firewall. So simply allow, if you given a full this console access to other administrators, they can simply modify whatever they want, and they can read your all entire configuration unnecessarily. So that will make a loophole to your production network. So before deploying your firewall into the live production network, whatever the default things is there, you need to change it, like IP address. Okay, so IP address, administrator, admin privileges, and administrator user accounts. Okay, under system administrators, you can see this is a default admin user and default credential, right? So we need to change the role, so based on our need. And you can customize the console. I want to allow the network administrators to verify only network related menus, to see, not if I don't want to show him other features in my FortiGate firewall, other configurations or features in my FortiGate firewall. So he belongs to networking team. He is going to configure something routing related configuration or interface level IP assignment. So that only he is going to do it. So why I should show other things to that particular administrator, so that I can customize the privileges and console. So that is also possible. So you need to create a new admin user account with the customized privileges based on his job nature, based on his job role. You need to customize the console. So you should not provide full access like this. Okay, so that and all you need to do it. That is comes under the initial configuration only. Okay, and after that register your product, and you need to apply the licenses, and you need to verify, you need to create a policy, and you need to verify that. After that everything is okay, then only you need to deploy in your live production network. Okay, so these are all the thing we need to do it, and we'll do it. We are already running out of time, so we'll do this in our upcoming live sessions, guys. Okay, so for those who waiting for those who need a demo for other products like for Paloalto, Checkpoint, Cisco ASN, FTD, right? So and along in FortiGate also some advanced topic, right? So for them, I'll give you today. I'll share one link. Where I have added almost each firewall. I have added 3 to 4 hours demo videos. Okay, so 3 to 4 hours. So totally 15 to 20 hours demo recorded video I'll share with you guys, so you can just refer it. And if everything is okay, if our curriculum, along with the curriculum in detailed discussion, I have shared these videos. Okay, just go through the curriculum and then my teaching methodology, and if everything is fine for you, then you can join this batch, guys. Okay, so those who want to join this batch, you can contact us. Let me So this is the upcoming batch detail. 5-in-1 Firewall Mastery Program in coming 11th we are going to start. Okay. Yes. Mag. Sorry. SAC. Definitely. Every videos or every live sessions are recorded, and the recorded videos will be provided for your reference. Okay. So no worry. So you can access the recorded video from our LMS portal. Okay. Our application. So you network ethics. Okay. This is our LMS portal. Here you can see I for your batch I'll create a separate course and I'll give you the access of recorded videos one by one. Okay. And for a lab setup, we'll use a EVNG virtual lab setup. Okay, I'll give you the necessary tools and softwares, and I'll help you how to create your lab setup in your own laptop or desktop. So even though if your laptop or desktop is not supported, you can create your own lab setup in Google Cloud. So I'll help you for that without paying anything. You can create your own lab setup and you can deploy it in a Google Cloud. Whenever you want, you can access it. Okay. And if you want to access, you can also access our lab setup. So we are providing a virtual lab setup only. Okay. So you can access our lab setup per week. You can access max to max 4 hours. So per week, two sessions, one sessions 2 hours. So totally 4 hours per week you can access our lab setup. For that you have to book your slot. Okay. And necessary tools and so if you want to create your own lab setup in in your laptop or desktop, right? We'll give you the tools and software, and I'll help you in the beginning of the session itself, live session itself. I'll teach you how to create your own lab setup. Okay. And I'll share you one link, guys. Okay, so where you can get the almost 15 to 20 hours free demo videos for each course. So you can go to here and you can see Fortinet, Fortinet here, Palo Alto, almost 1, 2, 3, 4 video I have added. 4 hours, I think it's 5+ hours. FortiGate I have added some of the videos. Okay, and Checkpoint I have added, ASA I have added, and Cisco FTD I have added. Okay, so all the firewalls you can verify. And first thing, please watch your first recorded video of each course first, then you can go with the other videos, because I have explained each and every detailed course curriculum. Okay, of for each product. So it will very helpful to you. So what are the content we are teaching you, and what are the content you are going to learn, so that you can easily and verify that. Okay. And then you can go with the advanced topic one by one. Clear? So almost 20+ hours is there. Okay. So I request you to watch this. I'll share the link. So you can use your PNet itself. RB, you can use your PNet itself. Okay. So please use this link to access your demo recorded videos for all other firewalls. Okay. So today what we did, we just explore the initial, we did the initial configuration of FortiGate firewall and we did explore the GUI console menus. Okay. So we'll see much things. So in a 2 hours demo, we can all the things we cannot provide. Okay. So for that reason only, I have given you a 8 plus hour, I mean 20 plus hours demo recorded video. Please go through that. And if you are satisfied with our training program, you can join with us, guys. Okay. Any queries? So the regular batch, it is going to start on coming 11th September. Okay. These are the batch schedule. I'll share the schedule in our WhatsApp group as well. Okay. So all our weekdays batch. Morning, we are going to start with checkpoint. Okay. We are going to start with the 5IN1 Firewall batch with checkpoint firewall as a first firewall. In a evening batch, we are going to start one 5IN1 Firewall master program, and that is going to start with FortiGate as a first firewall training program. Okay. Yes, you can. So you will have 2 years valid. Andrew, you have it. So one actual uh, duration for this course is 6 months, 5 to 6 months. It will take to complete entire course. Okay, and then you have another 6 months validity. So 1 year validity will give this course. So you can take a read multiple times. You can reattempt the session, any firewalls or entire compo. Okay, so you no need to pay anything for next 1 years. Yes, it's for Fortinet only, FortiGate firewall. We did FortiGate firewall only. Okay, and for that one, I mean, in a within 2 hour session, we cannot give a demo with all the product, right? So for that reason only, I have shared this link where you can see other product demos. It's not actually, it's not a demo session. It's a live batch session recorded video only. Okay, you can just go through that, guys. I hope you guys have got my link, this link. Okay, just refer this link and coming 11th Wednesday, coming Wednesday, we are going to start a new batch. So if you're interested, you can ping me. So I'll just drop my number. You can ping me for the admission process. Okay. So we'll start tomorrow. We'll start the admission process, and we'll Monday we'll close the admission process on 9th September itself. Okay. So